Deep in the forest, tucked past the winding dirt trails that two legs and deer alike used, and beyond the sheltering line of forest briars and bushes, thick with green leaf growth, was the forest glade that the cats of Moss clan called home. A few places within their territory were still scarred and burned from the fallen star stones, and the forest fire the stones had brought with them, but life in the wild continues on past tragedy and triumph, and already those old scars were filling in with thick grasses and increasingly hidden by wandering vines of ivy. The scars that were within the clan itself had begun to heal as well, beyond the fresh shock and pain of Silverfang's kidnapping by the two-leg. A glance at Honeywish's firmly set shoulders and flashing eyes were all one needed to see the grief of his loss still fresh and present in the clan. But life in the wild was not gentle, and a cat could be swallowed whole if they allowed grief to be the only thing to claim their heart. To survive, a wild cat had to learn how to celebrate every moment they had, and today the clan would do just that. Oakpaw. Lionstar stepped forward, his broad chest fluffing out with pride as he called out to his son. Around him, the cats of Moss clan, complete with the special visitor in the silverly pelted cat Bartram, who sat by the sidelines watching the proceedings with an amused expression, were gathered, their bellies full of the abundance of green leaf prey that the clan had gathered, and their fur slick from sharing tongues. Whispers of excitement rippled through the clan, growing loud enough that Lionstar had to cast a good-humored glance of fake annoyance to hush the crowd. There were a few chuckles, and the cats quieted, Oakpaw stepping forward. Briarstalk sat behind him, pride flowing from his sleek dark-red pelt, and a distant expression of nostalgia on his face as he watched his apprentice move forward. Across the clearing, Mossleaf sat with her large fluffy tail wrapped around Lizardpaw's shoulders. Her shoulders set with pride, but a flicker of grief in her eyes. Although she had taught Lionstar the traditional words to speak to their son, she would not be able to hear them spoken. Oakpaw, Lionstar repeated, his voice strong and deep, holding a note of pride and thoughtfulness. The events of the past few seasons had been difficult on the Moss clan leader as well, and had changed him. But he, like the rest of the clan, seemed to be recovering and emerging stronger and wiser, and he studied the apprentice before him with a long, serious look that held very little of the uncertain, eager-to-please cat he had been a Greenleaf ago. I, Lionstar, leader of Moss clan, call upon my warrior ancestors to look down on this apprentice, Lionstar began, his voice ringing out over the clearing. The forest seemed to still at the sound of the ritualistic words, as though watching as the young cat was recognized for the powerful creature he had become. He has trained hard to understand the ways of your noble code, and I commend him to you as a warrior in his turn. Lionstar was quiet for a moment, his gaze locked with Oakpaw's dark green eyes. Oakpaw, do you promise to uphold the warrior code, and to protect and defend your clan, even at the cost of your life? Oakpaw felt a shiver go through him at the words. Long ago, as a kit, he would never have understood what it meant to commit his very life to his clan. He would not have understood the dull ache of hunger when there was not enough food to feed the clan, or the pain and shock of having his body assaulted by claw and tooth as he fought for his life and for the clan. He would not have understood the dangers of putting his life at risk to remove deadly snakes and chase away vicious dogs so that the other, weaker clan members could escape. He would not have known what it meant to truly commit his life, with the knowledge that he may die in the process, to the safety of those he called his own and the future of the clan. And now he knew. Oakpaw shivered again and drew in a slow, deep breath, silently casting thanks to his mother for her many stories of what it meant to live by the warrior code, and to his mentor, Briarstalk, for showing him what it meant to bring the code to life with claw and heart. The green-masked cat finally nodded, lifting his head to look his father and leader in the eye once more. I do. A delighted, proud smile slipped across Lionstar's face before he could help himself, and he twirled his tail in happiness. Then, by the powers of StarClan, I give you your warrior name, Oakpaw, from this moment, you will be known as Oak Glade, for you are clearly a cat of Moss Clan's deep forest, and within you rests the strength to provide for the future of the clan and our forest home. Star Clan honors you, and we welcome you as a full warrior of Moss Clan. Bartram watched the ceremony playing out in front of him with open amusement, though he was careful to school his features into thoughtful seriousness every time the lovely red tabby cat glanced his way. Robin something was her name, wasn't it? Bartram licked his lips, clearing away the last of an extremely plump bluebird that he had had the pleasure to enjoy all on his own, and leaned towards her, taking advantage of the rush of excitement around Lionstar and Oakpaw, Oakglade it seemed his name was now, to steal a few private words. "So, I take it this is a pretty special event, then?" Bartram began, his voice casual, though his smoky grey eyes were shining with interest as he studied Robin Kit. Her attention was still locked onto the crowd of cats in the clearing. Everyone was gathering around Oakglade, purring and wrapping their tails around his shoulders in congratulations. But she nodded towards Bartram, her eyes still on her brother, a fact that annoyed the silvery cat somewhat. "Oh, of course! It is his warrior ceremony, after all. One of the most important events in a cat's life!" Robin Kit purred, her voice swelling with pride as she watched her brother. Bartram rolled his eyes, but quickly snapped his face back into a friendly smile when Robin Kit glanced his way out of the corner of her eye, his tail twitching involuntarily at the sight of her deep green eyes. "Are you a warrior too, Bartram?" "Oh, well, Bartram stammered, tilting his head from side to side as he flexed his shoulders. "You could say I've won a fight or two in my time. Why, just the other day there was this dog. Well, no, not just one dog, 2 dogs. And, well, one thing led to another, and—" Bartram's voice trailed off as Robin Kit leaned towards him suddenly, her muzzle brushing his as she pressed against him. For a dizzying moment it felt as though all he could see were stars, and all he could smell was her gentle scent, a mix of dried flowers and forest moss. "Oh, look!" Robin Kit meowed, excited, as she pulled away from Bartram with a large blue feather in her mouth. "You had this lovely blue jay feather on your pelt. Do you mind if I add this to my collection?" Her eyes sparkled with excitement, and Bartram stammered something agreeable, his usually smooth tongue practically twisting in on itself as he tried to remember the details of the fight with the raccoon. No, he had said it was a dog, 2 dogs, that he had been about to tell her, while another part of his mind distantly suggested perhaps he should give up on his history and go roll around in a nest to get more feathers stuck to his pelt, if that's what it took. "Oh!" Robin Kit meowed, jumping as her name was suddenly called. She cast a quick glance at Bartram, bobbing her head politely. "I have to go now. It's my turn!" The young cat seemed to glow in a sudden excited light, her eyes radiating contentment and warmth. "I am about to become a medicine cat apprentice!" With that, she darted away, back towards the center of the clearing, where Lionstar stood with Dogaze, leaving Bartram feeling as dizzy as a tree-stunned bird and a goofy smile on his face. The silvery cat shook himself and licked at his chest, purring softly. "And just what is a medicine cat apprentice, I wonder?" he muttered, settling in to watch the proceedings with interest. Redkit. Lionstar nodded towards his youngest son, who had grown rapidly into a huge, fluffy cat with a muscular frame and giant paws like his father, though Redkit was still at an age where coordinating his size was a steep learning experience. Lionstar felt a flicker of a smile across his lips. Well, that is what it meant to have a mentor, after all. "Redkit, you have reached the age of 6 moons, and it is time for you to be apprenticed. From this day on, until you receive your warrior name, you will be known as Redpaw." Lionstar quieted for a moment as cheering went up from the gathered clan cats, amusement in his gaze. Under normal circumstances, perhaps the clan would be quieter and more reserved during these ceremonies, but it was so freeing to have a celebration after the long, cold winter and bitter pain of the Sky Stones. The Moss clan leader could not begrudge his clanmates their joy. With a loud purr to bring attention back to himself and Redkit, now Red Paw, he waved his tail and continued on with the ceremony. Your mentor will be Briarstalk. He has proven himself to be a capable mentor, and though he has just finished his mentorship of Oak Glade, I have complete faith that he will use all the skills he learned while teaching Oak Glade to teach you to be an excellent warrior as well. You will stand by your brother's side in no time. Lionstar purred, and attention shifted to Briarstalk, who looked pleased. Across the clearing, Squirrelleap let out an audible sigh of relief and earned a nudge and a roll of the eyes by Dogaze, who was well aware of her friend's desire to escape all the responsibilities she could. Distracted, Noah noticed the brief flash of anger and hurt in Redpaw's eyes, which vanished before Lionstar's gaze returned to him, and Briarstalk stepped forward. Briarstalk and Redpaw stepped together, exchanging a brief and polite touch of the noses, and the cats of the clan called out in excitement, chanting Redpaw's new name. Redpaw's pelt flushed in embarrassment, and he shuffled his huge feet, going with his new mentor to the side of the clearing as his sister and Dogaze moved forward. Lionstar eyed up his only daughter with thoughtful eyes, his expression humbled and posture still. Slowly, the chanting of Redpaw's name faded away, and the cat sat in quiet silence as Robinkit sat before her father, her gaze steady and her eyes warm. This time, although the cats were silent, the forest murmured with life. Birds called overhead, and cicadas began their distant, noisy song. A pair of dragonflies darted overhead, the soft buzzing of their wings a gentle touch on the clearing. Finally, Robinkit having never shifted her gaze, Lionstar stepped towards the young cat and pressed his muzzle against hers gently. Dogaze and Mossleaf have told me more of what sacrifices are required of a medicine cat who truly chooses to follow that path, Lionstar murmured, so softly that only Robinkit could hear him clearly. Having been in the nursery with your mother and seen her joy with you and your brothers at her side, it is difficult for me to imagine that joy never being part of your life. However, if you are truly sure that the sacrifices are part of the path into your heart, then you have my blessing. Lionstar pressed his muzzle against Robinkit for a moment, then stepped away, allowing Dogaze to take his place. Dogaze turned and sat before the young cat, her body trembling with emotion and her eyes bright with a mix of joy and grief. She took a deep breath and lifted her head, her blue eyes, like the color of a rushing stream, flecked with gray as though minnows danced under the surface, meeting Robinkit's. Cats of Moss Clan, Dogaze began, her voice rough with emotion. I have survived the loss of my home clan, and the loss of my mentor and the fellow medicine cat apprentices. I have seen the loss of so much knowledge that has been passed from generation to generation of medicine cat, used to strengthen the clans and bring healing where there was sickness, life where there was loss. As a clan, we bind our lives together as a group and form a home and a place here in the wilds that will last beyond individual cats and become something so much more. And yet, without the knowledge that medicine cats hold, without the herbs we know to gather, without the healing practices we have been taught for generation upon generation, the bits of knowledge gained by study and insight from StarClan, without the healing we are able to do, and the warrior code that guides our Paws, our life in the wilds would be as short and frightening as those of our rogue and loner cousins. Or we would have to abandon the wilds entirely and lose our touch with our deepest selves, to trade away that for the peace of being a trapped kitty pet with the 2 legs. Dogaze drew a deep breath, her entire body trembling with the effort of speaking her deepest thoughts. I have often doubted StarClan for the things I have seen and the loss of so many wonderful cats so early in their lives here. But I have watched Moss Clan grow, and it has become clear to me there was meaning in StarClan's actions. For any other group of cats, what happened to us? The Starstones, the forest fire, the burns, breaks, the hurt, the pain that we suffered, that would have been enough to drive us apart. That would have been enough to end several of our lives. It is only thanks to the warrior code and the wisdom of the medicine cats before me that we were able not only to survive, but grow stronger, together, as a clan. Dogaze lifted her head and stared at the young cat before her, Robin Kit's ginger tabby pelt glowing in the dappled moonlight. A purr of pride rose from her chest, unbidden. I will not be around forever. No cat is. But the knowledge medicine cats possess will be. In becoming a medicine cat, we promise to dedicate our lives entirely to this sacred knowledge, and this trust that we will carry it on, so that as the warrior code strengthens the body of the clan, we as medicine cats can strengthen their hearts by letting them know that their health and safety are within our paws, and placed in the paws of StarClan through us. This is a task so large that nothing less than complete dedication to the role of a medicine cat can be acceptable. Dogaze took a deep breath and stepped forward, her eyes locking on Robin Kit's. It is time I took an apprentice to pass on that knowledge and that trust. I have chosen Robin Kit, who has shown she truly does possess the heart required to be a true medicine cat. After me, your next medicine cat will be Robin Paw.